So for those of you who are new around here, if you love nail art, then don't forget to hit subscribe, like and share this video so that you're kept up to date with all of our upcoming art classes and you won't miss out on anything. So I'm so excited about today's class, guys, because for those of you who know me would know that hands down my favourite type of nail art is anything that's henna inspired line work. It's so beautiful yet simple and complex at the same time, and you know what? There's something weirdly therapeutic about painting in this style too. Weird, I know, but it is what it is. And in actual fact, this type of design would have to be my most commonly requested design as well. So I thought for the last Christmas design of the season, why not go out with a bang? So we have taken the humble snowflake and we've given it a henna twist, and we've come up with my own personal version of the snowflake, and it's just pretty, it's cute, and it's actually easier to paint than what you think. So grab your liner brush and your gel paint. If you don't have either of those things as well, it unfortunately is a necessary part to this design to have a really top quality brush and a really highly pigmented gel. So for those of you who are looking to purchase good quality brushes and really highly pigmented gels, I'm going to add a link in the description that will take you through to my shop where you can buy my Nail Nerd exclusive Nail Nerd liner kit. It will set you up with everything you need to be lining like a pro in no time. So, as I said, the link is in the description, and you will receive 3 of our top selling liner brushes, the regular liner, I think it's the long liner and the short liner, and you'll also receive all of our gel paints. So, anywho, enough chatter, let's go. So you're going to need the following products. You're going to need your TNN Gel Polish in the shade Priscilla, a matte top coat, your JGM Pro Series liner brush, your TNN Gel Paint in white, and an LED lamp. Okay guys, let's begin with 2 thin layers of gel polish to the entire nail surface. I'm using the shade Priscilla, but you can use any colour you like. Make sure you cure the Nail Nerd gel polishes for 1 minute in between coats. So the first thing we want to do is also apply a thin layer of matte top coat. That gives us a really smooth surface to work on, and it just ensures that our line work can be as crisp as possible. So the first thing we want to do is start mapping out where our snowflake is going to go. So we want to begin by painting one very thin line straight up and down, and then we're going to paint across, crossing over obviously in the middle of the line. Make sure that your lines are long enough though. If they're too short, you're going to run out of room. You need to make sure that you've got enough room to paint. And also we want to make sure that each segment is evenly spaced. So the inside of our snowflake is going to be a little flower. As it's henna inspired, most henna design work is always based around floral patterns. So how we do that is we just place a dot in the center of each V section, and all we do is, using the most pressure in that center area, we are going to dot, drag down one side, ease up and taper off at the center. Back on the other side, press down, ease up, drag it down into the center. One more time, do your dot, press down, drag your brush around in an arc, easing off into the center, then come back down the other side doing the same thing. Let's have a closer look. We put our brush down in the center so that we stay symmetrical, press down and then easing up on my pressure as we near the center of the flower. Press down, ease up. As always, to stabilize your hand, you want to use your pinky finger to draw all of the pressure out of the fingers that you're holding your brush with, and it transfers that pressure into your pinky finger so that you have the most control over your brush. Also, let's talk about the angle that I'm holding my brush on. It's hard to see in this video, but I've actually got my brush on a 90-degree angle to the nail. Okay, and that's very important for being able to paint precisely, to paint small, and to paint, you know, as thin as possible. Now we're going to come in for a second row of petals. So we just do the same thing. So pop your brush down in the center of the petal, in the center of that V section, come down one side, easing off on your pressure as we near the center of the nail, center of the snowflake, sorry, and then we do the same on the other side. Now make sure that the spacing in between each petal is the same in each section. Okay, part of this design working means that it needs to be as symmetrical as you can get it. So you don't want to have any varying angles, degrees, lengths, or anything like that. You want to keep everything as close to the same as possible. So we just go around every section and we just add in that second petal. And then if you like, after this row of petals, we're going to get even smaller and even more detailed. So if you're not confident, please take a moment just to cure the design once you reach the end of the second row of petals. Okay guys, so you're ready to go even smaller? Good, let's go. So again, use your pinky finger to stabilize your hand, guys. That is imperative. If you don't use your pinky finger, you're really going to struggle. So now we just do teeny tiny little arches right the way around each petal. Now the thing to remember is to keep your brush on that 90-degree angle to the nail surface, because that allows us to paint micro, mini, really, really small. Okay, if your brush is on any other angle, you're going to have too much of the bristle surface on the nail to paint tiny. So the angle that you hold your brush on is a big one. And what I'm doing, if we look closer, I am just touching down on the side of each little arch before it. See what I mean? I pick up on the same line, piggyback off it, and then I come around. Let's look closer. See how I begin where the last line left off and I just bring it down? See, look at this. So touch the same line, come up and around. Once more, touch the same line, drag up and around, back to the line before it, drag up and around, all on a 90-degree angle, using my pinky to stabilize my hand every time, up and around, and then tuck in. Now the other thing that I want you to keep in mind is that whenever line work is concerned, the more pressure you put on your brush, the thicker the line is going to be. So key to thin line work and detailed line work is absolutely no pressure. And one thing that I like to do, this may or may not make sense to you, but the thing that I like to do is I like to do a little bit of a mental exercise. And every time I'm trying to paint really, really small, what I do is I actually envision that the gel is touching the surface of the nail, but I'm preventing the actual brush bristles from touching the nail. So by trying to do that, it actually just keeps me really aware of my pressure, and it prevents me from being too heavy-handed, because the whole time I'm very mindfully trying to, you know, keep my brush at that point where the gel has made contact but the brush hasn't. And if what I've just said confuses the bejesus out of you, then just disregard, because I probably am just a bit of a weirdo, but that works for me. If it doesn't work for you, just remember, no pressure. Right, so that's the base of the snowflake done and dusted. So now all we need to do is start putting the outer teardrop type shapes in. So what we do there is we always reload our brush, so I make sure there's a small dollop of gel just on the end of my brush, just sitting right on the tip. I press down into the nail, and then dragging down, I'm easing up on my pressure so that the line tapers off to nothing. See? Make contact, press down, ease up as we come around. And what I'm doing is I'm just tucking each little teardrop shape into the corners. See what I mean? Touch, ease up, tuck it into the corner. One more time. Touch, press down, ease up, tuck it in. And then on the top, in the middle of each one of these little doofies, we're just going to place 3 small dots. I always dot with my brushes so that you've got more control over the size and overall placement. Sometimes you can lose control of the size of your dots if you're using dotting tools. So yeah, for that reason I don't usually use dotting tools, just my brush. So let's have a wee look closer so you can see exactly how I'm creating this. So once more, we're going to touch down on the nail, dragging down, easing off your pressure, pulling that little initial spot down into a teardrop shape, and we tuck it into the corner. And finish off with a couple of dots coming off the center. Okay, my love, we're nearly there. So at the bottom of the nail, I'm just going to fill in the space by adding a few little random snowflakes and a couple of twinkles. So for the twinkles, we're going to create a spot on the nail, and then we simply drag the product out in opposite directions to the center, easing up with our pressure as we near the end of the line, which in turn tapers off to nothing. It's really up to you what you do with the rest of the space on the nail, and if you've got enough room and you've got enough time to paint another one, you could always even just add a second snowflake. That always looks really pretty. So anyway, that is all from our fine line henna inspired snowflake. Now we want to apply a top coat to seal it all and finish it off. I'm applying a matte top coat. I always like using a matte over top of white designs because sometimes the reflection can alter the overall look of the design. But anywho, that's up to you. You can do whatever you like. Well, my loves, that's all from me today. I've had an absolute ball and I hope you've enjoyed it too. I hope you all have an amazing, safe Christmas. And if you have enjoyed today's lesson and you would like to learn more exclusive designs from me, check out the Nail Nerd Club. I'm going to pop the link in the description for you guys. But basically it's more detailed, more in depth. And you get to choose the content that you learn. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you check that out. I'll see you next week, beauties. Bye.